Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Ram, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Krishna, Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam
Hare Krishna.
Namaskrityam. Hare Krishna. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiret. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I think we are, let's see in the chat. She said,
40,
48, 49.
49.
Okay, I'll just read the translation to familiarize myself. 46. I think I did, when I was there, 45, we did. Okay. Otherwise, if one does not take shelter of Achyuta and Baldev, then the senses acting as the horses and the intelligence acting as the driver, both being prone to material contamination. the senses and the intelligence. Inattentively bring the body, which acts as the chariot, to the path of sense gratification. When one is thus attracted again by the rogues of Vishaya, eating, sleeping, and mating, the horses and chariot driver are thrown into the blinding dark well of material existence, and one is again put into dangerous and extremely fearful situation of repeated birth and death. Okay, so if we don't take shelter of Krishna and Balram, Prabhupada says here, Krishna Balram, then we will not be, our senses and intelligence will not work properly, and we don't know where we will go. The chariot of this body will take us into a dark well of material existence. Okay, next verse. According to the Vedas, there are two kinds of activities, pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti activities involve raising oneself from a lower to a higher condition of materialistic life. Whereas nivritti means the cessation of material desire. Through pravritti activities, one suffers from material entanglement, but by nivritti activities, one is purified and becomes fit to enjoy eternal blissful life. There are two kinds of path, pravritti and nivritti marg. Okay. Pravritti is like enjoying in a regulated way and then slowly becoming detached, whereas nivritti means renunciation. Okay, cessation of material desires, and okay. Then next verse 48, 49. Okay. The ritualistic ceremonies, there is no purport, and sacrifices known as Agnihotra Yagna, Darsha Yagna, Purnamas Yagna, Chaturmasi Yagna, Pashu Yagna, and Soma Yagna are all symptomized by killing of animals and the burning of many valuables, especially food grains, all for the fulfillment of material desires and the creation of anxiety. So all these yagnas are, in yagnas, they used to sacrifice animals and put a lot of grains in the fire, which is very valuable. And this is all for the purpose of satisfying material desires, which creates anxiety. Ultimately, material desires are never fulfilled, and it says creation of anxiety. So yagna is done for the creation of anxiety. Means, we do yagna, or they are doing, somebody does yagna to fulfill material desires. So, like somebody doesn't have something and they want it. They want to go to heavenly planets, or they want a child, right? Or what they want this, they want a spouse. So they do this worship, and that creates more anxiety, actually. He's saying here. All for the fulfillment of material desires and the creation of anxiety. Okay. So, even if you go to heavenly planets, there is anxiety. If you do yagnas to go to heavenly planets, or you get a child, then also there is a lot of anxiety, right? You're creating more anxiety because now so many things can happen to your child, and that will create anxiety, as happened with Chitraketu Maharaj also, right? He had a child, and that created anxiety for him, which his child died. So, so whole material world is full of anxiety, basically. Everywhere, no matter where you go, there is anxiety. Performing such sacrifices, worshipping Vaishwadev, and performing the ceremony of Baliharan, which all supposedly constitute the goal of life. As well as constructing temples for demigods, buildings, resting houses and gardens, digging wells for the distribution of water, establishing booths for the distribution of food, and performing activities for public welfare. These are all symptomized by attachment to material desires. So one may be doing all these things to get something in return. So although you can distribute food and all these activities for public welfare, just out of compassion, not wanting anything in return, digging wells for distribution of water, just to do good to the people, right? So building resting houses and gardens. So it can be selfless also, but it can be also done for punya karma to attain piety, so that I will enjoy more in the next life or in this life. So with that purpose also one can do pious activities. Okay, so it is the consciousness behind what activity you're doing, why you're doing. Of course, and then the activity can be connected to Krishna also if we have prasadam distribution. Okay, so there is no purport. Next verse. Dravya sukshma vipakasya vipakasya dhumo ratri apakshaya ayanam dakshinam somo darsha oshadi virudaha annamreta iti kshmesha pitrayanam punarbhava eka ekaikyasena anupurvam bhutva bhutveha jayate. My dear King Yudhishthir, when oblations of ghee and food grains like barley and sesame are offered in sacrifice, they turn into celestial smoke. Okay, so ghee and there is smoke in the yagna, which carries one to successively higher planetary systems like kingdoms of Dhuma, Ratri, Krishna Paksha, Dakshinam, and ultimately the moon. So by performance of these sacrifices, one can go to higher planetary systems. Then, however, the performers of sacrifice descend again to earth to become herbs, creepers, vegetables, and food grains. These are eaten by different living entities and turn to semen, which is injected into female bodies. Thus, one takes birth again and again. So you go to the heavenly planets and then you come down. Sometimes they say in the form of rain, and then you become herbs, creepers, and then vegetables or food grains. And depending on, who is eating that, the human beings may be eating that, then it turns into semen, which is then injected into female bodies. And that's how again you are born. In this middle planetary system, again you are born. Thus one takes birth again and again. That's how this verse is saying. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 9:21. Tetam bhuktva te tvam bhuktva swargaloka vishalam shine punya martya lokam vishanti evam trai dharmam anuprapanna gata gatam kama kama labhante. When those who follow the pravritti marg have enjoyed the heavenly sense pleasure, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, through Vedic principles, they achieve only flickering happiness. So this line is very famous. Shine punya martya lokam vishanti. Shin means, what is the meaning of shin? Shin.
Finished?
Yeah, depleted, finished. When your punya is finished, you come back down to this middle planet, Martya Lok, where people live shorter lives. That's why it's called Martya Lok. There also people die. In the higher planets also people die, but they live a long life. Sometimes they're called Amar. They're not really Amar in the sense that they cannot stay in that body. But in this planet, yeah, very short life, middle planetary systems. 100 years at the most, in Kali Yuga especially. Yeah. So Shina, as you enjoy your pious credits go down. You are using up, as you are like throwing parties and you're going traveling, right? Now, so many of you are traveling to India, so you have to spend a lot of money, your hard-earned money, that you accumulated working at your job. Now you have to spend on airfare and accommodation and so many things. So whatever you worked very hard, now you have to spend that money because you're going on a vacation. Of course, it's a spiritual vacation, so it's different. But let's say you go to vacation to Hawaii or something like that, material vacation, where it's for enjoyment. Then you are spending all your money, which you have worked very hard. Then, as you go to Hawaii and you take all the different, you go to the helicopter and all the different things you see, and you take a tour, you're spending your money. But then your money is running out. So now you cannot keep on vacationing. So now you have to again come back and earn money, right? You again come back to your job, again make money. Like we have some people who work some months of the year, then they spend the money. Then after some time, then again they work, or you work 5 days, you get money. Saturday, Sunday, you enjoy and you spend all your money. Then again, come Monday, you have to keep working. Then again, you get money and you spend. So, like that, our pious credits also we accumulate, and then it runs as you enjoy, it is going down. Similarly, your sins, as you suffer, your sin is decreasing. The stock of sinful reactions we have, that is decreasing as we suffer. So when your punya runs out, then you come back to this material world. Yeah.
And it's sudden, right? You said they are in the party and they're dancing and suddenly they drop dead.
Yeah. So there is no prolonged old age. In the heavenly planets, it's not like you become old and then your legs don't work and you're not able to walk and so many things. No, you're very healthy. You're very healthy. There's no old age. There is no disease like here. You don't get cancer and all these things. But suddenly the enjoyment finishes abruptly. And the enjoyment just finishes. Like in this world also, sometimes some people are enjoying very much and suddenly they get into an accident or something happens and finished. So like that. In heavenly planets, it's like that. So so when those who follow the pravritti mark, okay, so they go up to the heavenly planets, they enjoy there for a long time. They come back down, then they again accumulate piety. Then again you go up, or you accumulate sin, then you go down. So Krishna is saying, don't be attracted by all this language of flowery language of the Vedas. Nistray guna bhava Arjuna. Nistray, what is that verse?
Traigunya Vishaveda.
Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Yeah, Prabhupada is quoting that. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistray guna bhava Arjuna. Yeah. Become free from all this temptations of karma kanda, where you get high birth and high happiness and all these things. So this is there in the Vedas because not everybody can take up transcendental service to the Lord. So following the pravritti marg, the living entity who desires to be promoted to the higher planetary systems performs sacrifices regularly. So this is called pravritti. Pravritti means increasing path of material enjoyment. So then he does so many activities. And how he goes up and comes down again is described here in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. As well as in Bhagavad Gita. It is also said, Traiguniya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas deal mainly with three modes of material nature. The Vedas, especially three Vedas, namely Sam, Yajur, and Rik, vividly describe this process of ascending to higher planets and returning. But Krishna advises Arjuna, Traiguniya Vishaya Veda Nistraiguniya Bhava Arjuna. One is to transcend these three modes of material nature, and then one will be released from the cycle of birth and death. So Krishna is saying, don't be attracted to the flowery language of the Vedas. Why? Because Krishna does not want us to rotate in the cycle of birth and death, but he wants us to go back to him, to live eternally happily. happily. Yeah. To live, what is that? And they lived happily ever after. Yeah. So Krishna wants for just as a father or mother for their child, they want eternal happiness, right? They don't like to see their children in distress, generally speaking, right? And so similarly, the Supreme Father and Mother, Srimati Radharani and Krishna, they don't like to see us going through all these struggles and anxiety and going through repeated birth and death. It's time to return home, back to Godhead. Okay, so that's why Krishna is saying. Although Vedas are coming from him only, but he says, don't be attracted to this. Otherwise, although one may be promoted to higher planetary systems such as Chandralok, one must again come down. Shine Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti. After one's enjoyment due to pious activities is finished, one must return to this planet in rainfall. Oh, here it is saying rainfall. And first take birth as a plant or creeper, which is eaten by various animals, including human beings, and turn to semen. This semen is injected into the female body, and thus the living entity takes birth. Those who return to earth in this way take birth especially in higher families like those of Brahmanas. So Krishna says, yeah, those who are yogis, those who have fallen from their path, they may go to heaven and then they may come down in family of devotees. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashta Vijayate. So living entity goes like that, and then that comes as some plant, it is eaten by the human beings or animals and injected. Like it reminds of that verse in the third chapter, third canto, 31st chapter, first verse. Karmana deva netrena
Janturdehapaate
triya pravishta
Kriya
udara.
Pravishta Udaram Pumsureta Kanashraya.
I think it is
Yeah.
331 one.
But this concept is little different from what we have heard previously, where we say that based on the consciousness of the parents, a particular soul is attracted to the womb. But here it's like whatever you eat, and suddenly that grain had a soul of somebody, and then got injected in woman's body. So it's a little different.
Yeah, correct. The personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. So that is the verse. Yes. The semen is injected in the, okay. It may be remarked in this connection that even the modern so-called scientists who are going to the moon are not able to stay there, but are returning to their laboratories. We have the International Space Station, right? Where they go and they. Who was that? Did they bring them back? They were like stuck there for a long time.
Yeah, the SpaceX had to bring them back because they were stuck there. And there
Huh.
was some now they were sick, they had to come back too.
Yeah. They're back now, right?
I think so. I haven't followed up on that.
Okay.
But they should be back, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you go there, it's difficult to come back also. So anyway. Who wants to go to International Space Station for some time? For a few months you can live there in space. It may be remarked in this connection that even the modern so-called scientists who are going to the moon are not able to stay there, but are returning to their laboratories. Therefore, whether one goes to the moon by modern mechanical arrangements or by performing pious activities, one must return to Earth. So even those who have gone, Neil Armstrong, Colin, and who's the other guy? Three of them went, but they could not stay on the moon. They had to come back.
But
Even if they,
Buzz Aldrin, yes.
yeah, Armstrong, who is that?
Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and I forget the third one. You got his name.
Colin, I think, something. So three of them went, but they had to come back. Therefore, whether one goes to the moon by modern mechanical arrangements or by performing pious activities, either you go by the NASA's whatever satellite or the shuttle, or you go by performing, one must return to earth. That is clearly stated in this verse and explained in Bhagavad Gita. Even if one goes to higher planetary systems, yanti deva vrata devan, one's place there is not secure. One must return to Martya Loka. Brahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Aside from the moon, even if one goes to Brahmalok, one must return. Yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Sometimes it is said from Brahmalok, if you are pure devotee, you can go back to Godhead. But generally, okay. But if one goes back, yam prapya na nivartante. So, attaining the Lord's abode, na nivartante. They don't come back. Tadhama paramam. But if one goes back home, back to Godhead, he did not return to this material world.
And Prabhupada right said we were all Brahma at one time, so we had fallen from Brahmalok. The Jiva first goes to Brahmalok.
Yeah, and from there also, yeah, he goes down. Okay, so yeah. So next verse we'll read. So when living entity first falls, he gets the position of Brahma, and then he gets some different bodies. Then we are in Columbus, Ohio now. From Brahmalok.
So whatever we are eating, all those living entities are staying within us.
Yeah, there are a lot of we are the predominant living entity in this body, but there are, like in our home, there are many lizards and cockroaches and so many other living entities also living. So that is why it is said, semen, they're living in the semen. And then, of course, there are bacteria, all these things we know, the viruses and coronavirus, right? It is also living in the body only, along with the soul. So that soul is injected into the female body. So that is why all this illicit, like contraceptives and wasting semen, is not considered spiritual activity, because it is preventing the soul from entering into the womb. If you think like that, then okay. All right. So next verse, verse 52. Nishekadi smashanantai sanskare sanskrito dvija indriyeshu kriya yagnan jnana deepeshu juhvati. So I was hearing one class yesterday from Keshav Maharaj. He was saying Jnana Deepena, Jnana Deepa. Here it is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Gyan has been associated, Gyan means knowledge, has been associated with a lamp, right? Gyan. What is that verse? Jnana Deepeshu Juhvati.
Tesham sadat, what is Tesham evanukampartham aham gyanjam tamam ashyami atma bhavastu jnanadipena bhasham.
So Krishna says to show them special mercy, I who am dwelling in their hearts with the lamp of knowledge. Yeah, I light the lamp of knowledge and destroy the darkness born of ignorance. So knowledge is compared to light. Other places, knowledge is compared to a boat. Jnana plavam, jnana plavena, where Krishna says, if you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, right, there's a verse like that. Let's see. Then, what is that verse? Even you may be considered the most abominable of all sinners. You will be
436.
436. Okay. That is jnana. Is it saying?
Jnana plavaneva.
Jnana plaveneva. Api ched asi papebhya Sarvebhya papakrittama sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So jnana dipena, jnana plavena. Then the jnana is compared to the knowledge, fire. Jnana agni. Jnana agni means, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you are situated the
There is
fire.
437. Next verse is the fire of knowledge.
Yeah, fire of knowledge. So, yathethanshi samidognir bhasma satkurute arjuna jnana agni sarva karmani bhasma satkurute tatha. So these two verses, 436 and 437. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna. So firewood will turn to ashes. So does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. And then Jnana Asina, the sword of knowledge, which we were, I think, talking about it before. Jnana Asina is the sword of knowledge.
441. 442. Weapon of knowledge.
Yeah. Asina is sword, or you can say weapon. Sword.
That's 442.
Yeah. Tasmad. So in the fourth chapter, it's all about transcendental knowledge. So Krishna is come. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam ritstam jnana sinatmana chitvainam sanshayam yogam atishto tishta bharata. So with the sword of knowledge, one should cut all one's doubts. Therefore the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand and fight. So jnana dipena, jnana plaveneva, jnana agni, and jnana asina. These are different ways in which knowledge is so important, right? So, and then of course, we have to apply the knowledge in our life. But knowledge, if you are situated in knowledge, then it's so valuable. If you have the knowledge, like that said, pen is mightier than the sword. So knowledge is very important. If you have knowledge about. So if you have knowledge, even if you are not perfect, but we have the knowledge, then we can. If you have knowledge and we are not perfect, then we should be humble. And we should be humble. And if you're humble, then you can take shelter of Krishna, Dainya Bhav. Right? You have fallen. You take shelter of Krishna. And if you take shelter of Krishna, hold on tightly to the lotus feet of Krishna, then you become perfect. So take shelter of Krishna, then you can cross over all the obstacles of all conditional life. Mat chita sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi atha cheto mahankaram nashushasi vinakshasi. Yeah.
We need bhakti actually. Knowledge should lead to bhakti.
Yes.
Knowledge can also lead to pride or making the heart hard-hearted. So if we have bhakti, we automatically have knowledge. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajanate Ashulam Jnanam Chayada Hetukum.
And this is also, like Krishna says, one who studies this sacred conversation of ours. So we are trying to understand, right, Krishna. So trying to understand Krishna is also bhakti, like reading Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand what we should do, how we should control our mind and our senses. Of course, bhakti is not dependent on knowledge. Bhakti, but Prabhupada says religion, what is that? Philosophy without religion or something like it's considered religion without
philosophy. Sentimentalism.
Yeah, sentimentalism. So if you don't have backing of what you are doing. It may be sentimental. Bhakti can become sentimental. Of course, bhakti is all about sentiments for Krishna, emotions but we have to like understand what is pleasing to Krishna, what are proper emotions and how we should. Because Shruti Smriti Purana Adi Pancharatri Vithim Vina Ekanta ki Harir Bhakti Utpataiva Kalpate. If we don't refer to how bhakti should be practiced and we do on our own the way we like, then it can cause disturbance also. So that's why we need Guru and Sadhu and Shastra means you have to read the Shastra. So, but of course, some people can't read Shastra, but they may have bhakti. Yeah, that is also.
Also, there is knowledge and there is realization, Gyan and Vigyan. So, knowledge should lead to realization. Otherwise, there's no transformation.
Yeah, there is that verse in the Bhagavatam. If your religious life does not lead you to this, and if that does not lead you to this, then ultimately it does not culminate in devotional service to the Lord. Right? There is some verse like that.
Mostly dead, although breathing. Devahoti is doing.
Yeah. So ultimately it has to culminate in knowledge, has to culminate in devotion, bhakti, Vedanta. The end of all knowledge is bhakti to the Supreme Lord. But bhakti has to be done properly. Like, if I don't know, then I may offer anything to Krishna and say, oh, it is prasadam. Yeah, but if I don't know that onion garlic cannot be offered to Krishna, then I may offer and say, oh, this is prasadam, I offer to Krishna. So that's where knowledge comes in. Okay, so anyway, how did we get here? Because Jnana Deepeshu. Okay, I was remembering. So, okay, Sonia joined the call, so she's raised her hand. Okay, go ahead. Sonia.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, I understand the concept of, bhakti and why onion garlic is bad, but onion garlic was also created by God. It wasn't created by humans. So why is it wrong to offer it to God?
Maybe we can point to the lecture that I think there is Amrendra Prabhu's class one. He has given, I think, 1 hour class or something. Right? That link somebody can.
Yeah, I'm pasting it.
Yeah, I think I've heard that lecture, but I mean, my question is just like basic.
No, I mean, we have a lot of poisonous things also in this world. It is also created by Krishna only.
Yeah, like opium, drugs also grown.
Drugs, everything is coming, right? Tobacco is also coming from Krishna. I mean, like that. But yeah, there may be some utility for that thing. Otherwise, you may say, well,
Right.
why has Krishna created all these things?
Right.
But yeah, so there may be some in some medicines they may be using for something, but
yeah, I mean opium and alcohol and all those things. I mean even garlic and I understand, it creates those rajasic behavior and all that, and that's why it should be avoided. But I was just
yeah, from body point of view, I think they say it's very good for your heart and
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of studies on one way and the other, not about onion, but especially garlic, I think.
garlic, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have stopped it, but I'm just asking, garlic I've stopped. Onion I'm still trying to work on because it's hard to, when you're living with family, it's hard to cook without onion, and then it slowly trying to do that.
There is some background from the Puranas also,
Yes.
right? How the onion garlic, like the heads of Rahu Ketu were grown into onion garlic. So all
because they drank Amrit. So, so whatever that fell from their mouth led to onion garlic. So it has Amrit properties, but it's coming from the mouth of the demon. So it's mode of passion, ignorance, both. So
yeah, I also found that without using onion, I've substituted it with hing. It actually does taste a bit better, but it's a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Hing.
Hing.
Asafoetida.
Asafoetida. Yes, hing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, but somebody may say, well, there are health benefits of eating garlic. So
There are.
one is for the taste purpose, and then another is health benefits. So that's why I'm eating garlic.
So
Not only
those
for
who are not eating garlic, not that they're sickly or weak, right? I mean, so many doctors say, oh, you should eat fish, or you should vitamin D that way, or whatever, vitamin B, you should eat meat. But would we eat that? No. Although it has benefits, maybe.
vitamin B12. Yeah, you can get from, which is very rare to find vitamin B12. Sometimes they say like that. So you have to eat fish or so many things like that.
Yeah, I think there is also a lecture on, how vegetarianism is also, it can be unhealthy when it's not eaten in the healthy way, in the Ayurvedic way, or in the right way. If you're just eating, puris and all the fried stuff, and it's still vegetarian, but it's still unhealthy. So, um, yeah, it was just a question.
Yeah. So many things are created by God, but there may be some purpose, but it may not be good for our consciousness also. So that's what your question is. So here there is a verse. What is this verse? Nehayat karma dharmaya now viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaye jivan apimrito hisa. Anyone whose work, yeah, that was the one. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, and anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service. So work to religious life to ritualistic
Renunciation.
performances. No, religious life to
Renunciation.
work, religious life, renunciation, and
Finally, bhakti.
devotional service.
Yeah, I think the basic thing is not to eat
Life.
based on your taste buds.
Mhm.
Not to give in to your taste buds, attractions of your taste buds.
Yeah.
One other thing I kind of have heard about onion and garlic, I don't know whether it is true or not, is that because onion and garlic, they both have such strong smell that smell is repelling kind of.
Mhm.
And
Mouth freshener.
so,
You have to put a mouth freshener.
so what will it do to the body? I mean, inside that kind of
Well,
smell when you eat.
yeah,
I,
even
I don't know.
eating with onion and garlic, it's smelling. Don't even have to eat it.
Yeah.
But it's like that, right? I mean, meat is cooking for somebody. That smell is so like, oh, it's so wonderful. Yeah, that smell of the meat being cooked. Like if you're addicted to eating meat and you like that smell so much. And for others, it's like, oh my God, I can't stand this smell.
Yeah.
So it's like that taste of onion or whatever. For some person, it is like, oh, it's so nice, so wonderful. I like this taste. Okay, anyway, so it's all dependent on the modes of nature.
Like
Yours.
on smell, I would say like even radish smells horrible. Like, your mouth stinks when you eat that. So I don't know if
Yeah.
smell is. Yeah.
So radish also smells like onion, you're saying.
I mean, your mouth smells when you eat
Yeah,
radish.
radish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next verse we'll read. What is the time? Okay, we have time. A twice-born Brahmana, Dvija, gains his life by the grace of his parents. So there is a twice-born Brahmana. Twice-born means like in Christianity also we have born again Christian, right? What does that mean, born again Christian? Means you're baptized. Maybe Ingrid can tell us. Born again. So anyway, so when you are born again means twice born means now you've got transcendental knowledge. And is called second birth. Ja means Janma and Dvi means second. So first birth is by our biological mother and father. And the second birth is when you get transcendental knowledge of who am I, why am I here, what is the purpose of life. So gains his life by the grace of his parents. So here it's saying the twice born Brahmana gains his life by the grace of his parents through the process of purification known as Garbhadhan. So before even the child is born, there is like what you can say preparation for bringing the child. So preparation means preparation of consciousness to bring the child. So in Kali Yuga, they don't do like this, right? So we say there is no Garbhadhan. Garbhadhan Sanskar means Garbha means the womb. So before the child is conceived, there is like preparation of consciousness. Prabhupada said like what? What do you have to do?
50 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra.
Yeah, 50 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. Both the husband and wife should chant 50 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra. That is the Garbhadhan Sanskar to attract a, like now we are talking about attracting a pure soul in the womb. So couple is recommended to chant 50 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra so that one's consciousness becomes not simply lusty consciousness, but it is a sacred act to bring a soul, a pure soul into this world like that. So of course the soul cannot be pure completely because it's coming into the material world, but he's having a desire for spiritual advancement. So because that is not done, that's why it is said Kalau Sambhava Shudra. In this Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. Why? Because nobody does all this kind of preparation of consciousness. Mostly children are begotten out of lust, lusty consciousness. So that is why here it is said that the soul is already like in a good situation because the parents have prepared their consciousness. Okay, so we say mentality of the parents at the time of conceiving, conception attracts a particular kind of soul to the womb. This is another way we say on last verse, as you were saying, this from Seaman, but this is another thing also. So conceiving a child should be done in spiritual consciousness. As Krishna says, remember Krishna and do then one's activities. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Okay. There are also other processes of purification until the end of life when the funeral ceremony, Antyeshti Kritya, is performed. So from before birth till after death, there are so many ceremonies for the elevation of the soul. Like even after death, right? We take the ashes, we put it in the Yamuna or Ganga, like that. And before birth, before coming into this world also, there is preparation after how to get elevated, how the soul can become elevated, or an elevated soul can come. So in this age, all these things we may not do, but the main way to purify the heart is to take shelter of Krishna through the chanting of the holy names. And thus in due course, a qualified Brahmana becomes uninterested in materialistic activities. So a soul who has been brought into this world through Garbhadhan Sanskar is already very spiritually inclined and becomes uninterested in material activities and sacrifices, but he offers the sensual sacrifices in full knowledge into the working senses, which are illuminated by the fire of knowledge.
What is meaning of sensual sacrifices?
So let's see. We'll see what Prabhupada says. I was also thinking. Of course, a qualified Brahmana becomes uninterested in materialism, but he offers the sensual sacrifices in full knowledge into the working senses, which are illuminated by the fire of knowledge. So we'll see what Prabhupada says. So basically, whatever he does through his senses, sensual usually refers to enjoyment, right? Sensual enjoyment, we say. Sensual sacrifices in full knowledge into the working senses, which are illuminated by the fire of knowledge. Okay, so let's see what. So, yeah, so the qualified Brahmana becomes uninterested in materialistic activities. So, similarly, if we chant the holy name in proper consciousness, Trinadapi Sunichena, we are fallen. When we realize that we are fallen, we become humble, we take shelter of Krishna. When we take shelter of Krishna, then all obstacles gone. Okay, those interested in materialist activities remain in the cycle of birth and death. Pravritti marg, or the inclination to stay in the material world to enjoy varieties of sense gratification, has been explained in the previous verse. Pravritti marg means sense enjoyment path. And ultimately, one becomes frustrated, so then one tries for something else. Dharmartha kam, that is pravritti marg, and then moksha at the end. Now, in this verse, it is explained that one who has perfect Brahminical knowledge rejects the process of elevation to higher planets. So, those who have knowledge, they don't like to go to a temporary situation to higher planets, and accepts nivritti marg. In other words, he prepares himself to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, those who are not Brahmanas but atheists do not know what is pravritti marg or nivritti marg. They simply want to obtain pleasure at any cost. So those who want to enjoy, they just want to enjoy. They are not interested in regulated sense gratification or renunciation. Pravritti marg means regulated sense gratification, ultimately leading to renunciation. And nivritti marg means renunciation. So those who are not Brahmanas, but atheists, so those who don't know the goal of life, they just simply want enjoyment. They don't want regulated enjoyment. They just want enjoyment. It doesn't matter, however. And they're not, of course, interested in renunciation. Our Krishna consciousness movement is therefore training devotees to give up the pravritti marg and accept the nivritti marg in order to return home back to Godhead. So this is the path of renunciation. Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yogam. To give up pravritti marg and accept the nivritti marg means by getting a higher taste. Ultimately, it is only by higher taste. In order to return home back to Godhead, this is a little difficult to understand. But it is very easy if one takes to Krishna consciousness seriously and tries to understand Krishna. It means if you take to Krishna consciousness seriously, you will get higher taste and you will become detached. If you have good sadhana, if you are chanting your rounds very nicely, your taste will awaken, as Rupa Goswami says. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Niruchikanu Kintvadara Danudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta Swadvikramat Bhavati Tadgada Bulahantri. Yeah. So if we very nicely in right consciousness, if we chant the holy name, taking shelter of Krishna, like that, if we do our devotional activities, then slowly we will rise above the lower modes of nature and the bodily conception of life and come to the spiritual platform and be very happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. And then other things are like easy to give up. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina. Rasovarjam Rasopi Asya Param Drishtva Nivartate. That Krishna says like that. Seriously, and tries to. A Krishna conscious person can understand that performing yajna according to Karma Kanda system is a useless waste of time because it gives temporary results. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasham, Krishna is saying. It's useless waste of time, and that merely giving up the Karma Kanda and accepting the process of speculation is also unfruitful. So Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda means, okay, speculating how things are on my own. I'm speculating with my mind. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur has sung in Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Keval Vishera Bhanda. Is there a song that you can say? Amrita Boliya Yeva Khaye. Nana Yoni Sada Fire. कदर यह भक्षा न करे, तारा जन्म अध पाते याय. A life of karma kanda or jnana kanda is like a poison pot. Vishera bhanda, vish means poison. And one who takes to such life is doomed. In the karma kanda system, one is destined to accept birth and death again and again. Similarly with jnana kanda, one falls down again to this material world. Only worship of the Supreme Person offers one the safety of going back home, back to Godhead. So don't waste time in jnana kanda and karma kanda. They say the karma kanda is useless waste of time. Like Prahlad Maharaj says to his classmates, don't waste time. Right from your young age, you should be engaged in. Don't waste time in all this playing and all this. For children, so much time. Then he gives analysis. Kauma ramacharit, how time is wasted. Kauma ramacharit pragyo. So Prabhupada is saying, give up pravritti marg and accept nivritti marg. Pravritti marg, as we are saying, is the regulated path of material enjoyment and sense gratification, where you follow all the Vedic, rules and regulations, and eventually, you progress towards liberation. Nivritti marg means giving up material desires to go, but that may not be possible for everybody. That's why there is pravritti marg in the Vedas, karma kanda and all this, because it's not possible until you get a higher taste. So pravritti marg is mostly designed for grihasthas who cannot renounce immediately. So engage in sense gratification in a regulated way. You accumulate wealth and gradually lose taste. Then you go to vanaprastha and sannyas. That is the nivritti marg. Detachment, ultimately. Okay. The next verse. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. We'll stop here. Anything? Any comments?
The last part of the verse we were discussing what it means. I think in Bhagavad Gita also there's so many verses. They're saying sacrifice the senses in the fire. So 426, for example, if you open 426.
Brahman Varpam, that's the verse.
Yeah. Brahmachari sacrifice the hearing process.
No, it's different. Yeah, okay.
Means the senses, senses can be fire of sacrifice by using the senses in the service of Krishna.
So the unadulterated brahmacharis sacrifice the hearing process and senses in the fire of mental control. Sacrifice objects in the fire of the senses. Yeah. So they have to.
It becomes yagna, using your senses in the service of Krishna.
This restricted, unattached sex life is also kind of yagna, because the restricted householder sacrifices general tendency towards sense gratification for higher transcendental life. Yeah, so you have to be very sense controlled in the grihastha ashram. Otherwise, it can become grihamedi life, right? So all these things. And it is like you do garbhadan sanskar and all this. So there is restricted, unattached. So for the purpose of procreation. So these are all it's difficult, all these things. Brahmachari also is very difficult. But you have to be constantly absorbed in Krishna. That's the only way. I mean, Krishna says, my Maya is so difficult to control. I mean, to subdue, to surpass. Devi Esha Gunamai. It's my Maya, my illusory energy, my divine energy. Very difficult. Unless you take shelter of Krishna very strongly, whichever ashram you are, there are always some, Devi Esha Gunamai, Mama Maya Durattaya, Mamevaya Prapadyante Maya Mitam Tarandite. So, no way you can overcome Maya without taking shelter of Krishna. So that is why we should take shelter of Krishna, and especially through the holy names in this age.
It all starts with the tongue. We say tongue, belly, and genitals are in the same line. And if you use your tongue in chanting Hare Krishna and in eating only Krishna Prasad, right? Which means avoiding things that mode of passion, mode of ignorance, like food items, because in all the temples we see, onion garlic is not offered. So offering food to sattvic food to Krishna and then eating prasad, then we control our tongue, and that controls everything. Belly and genitals.
Yeah, that's why we are not supposed to eat in restaurants and things like that, because it is not cooked, because we know consciousness of the person who is cooking also affects our consciousness. So that's why even devotees, right, we have to see if devotees are properly situated in their consciousness, they're chanting their rounds, they're following the regulative principles. And if we eat food cooked and offered by such a devotee, then it will also elevate our consciousness. So
Otherwise, Vishera Anna Khaile Malin Hoy Malin Man Hoy Nahi Krishna Rasmaran. When one eats food which is cooked by materialistic people, which becomes contaminated, then our mind will become contaminated and we cannot think of Krishna.
Yeah, so yeah, yesterday who was telling, we were discussing with somebody, yeah, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur rejected mango because he said, oh, I ate mango. Without Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, you cannot eat the mango. I mean, why did you eat the mango? It is not offered to Krishna. And he said, okay, I will not eat mango throughout my life. And I was saying that here actually we are not only, it was a mistake, right? He ate something without being offered to Krishna. But here we on our own go to a restaurant, right? We go and we say, okay, please give me some tasty food, right? This restaurant has nice food. Give me some prasadam, like not prasadam, give me some. So that by mistake he did not eat, he accepted something which was not offered to Krishna. And he made a vow that I will not eat mango. And others is what we deliberately go out, right? It's like, of course, now for preachers it's different. For preaching purposes, Prabhupada said sometimes you have to go eat whatever, it's okay. Sometimes if you don't have prasadam, you are traveling, and so maybe you can eat.
Or it is offered by a house where you're doing preaching and they would not, to maintain relationships, otherwise they would say. But
Sometimes,
then little bit we eat.
yeah. Sometimes Prabhupada said, oh, there is onion garlic. Okay, eat. But that doesn't mean that we have to make like a like
own
theory
attempt.
out of it and then do every time like that. Okay, it's okay. Sometimes we have to do that. So one should not also become fanatic. But there are times when we are not preaching, we are not doing anything, and we are just going for the gratification of our taste. Right? So that is also something we have to consider. It is convenient, right? Because you don't have to cook at home. And we all get tired, those who are cooking at home, of everyday cooking if you're not inclined to
We
cook.
go to the temple and eat prasad there.
Yeah. But then you say temple food is not so like this and like that.
Healthy.
It is a lot of not healthy, this and that. And who knows, all the pujaris who are cooking, everybody is chanting their rounds and following the four regulative principles. We don't know all these things. Of course, we should not always doubt everybody. That is also there. But I mean, so many things are there. So, okay.
Yeah. So I pasted the verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling Raghunath Das Goswami, Jivera lalasa ye iti uti dhai shishno dhar parayan Krishna nahi paye. One who is subservient to his tongue and who goes here and there to satisfy his genitals in the belly, he cannot attain Krishna. So they say, Bhojan saras, bhajan niras. If you eat very nice, luxurious food, then your bhajan is niras, without taste. But bhojan niras, bhajan saras. You eat simple food, not for your taste, but just to stay alive, then your bhajan will be very nice.
That's why I think in that prayer, this is eat prasadam to your full satisfaction. Like that they say, like that in the word we recite. The translation is,
Sharira Vidyacha.
yeah. But in the beginning, yeah, it's okay. And then later on, yeah, many devotees came because of prasadam. They had 16 course meal, right? They were saying something like that on Sunday feast. So, yeah, for whatever reason, initially, yes, and then one has to realize more. So, okay, it's 8:10, and we have, who else is there? Deepika joined, I think she left. Okay. Okay, so we will hear something on pastimes.
Ingrid has something to say.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say greetings from Ireland. I landed here early this morning and was quite surprised when I exited the gate. There was a large group of Krishna devotees who were there.
Wow.
And I thought perhaps they were there to greet me. Had somehow gotten word that I was coming, but no, they explained that Keshava Maharaj Krishna was arriving from India. And so I waited with them and greeted him when he came in and escorted them to their cars. And then I am meeting up with them on Saturday at a place called Krishna Island, which I sent a link to, I think, in one of the chats, which is an island in the middle of Ireland that is populated entirely by Krishna devotees, and they have a large temple, and they keep cows there, and it looks like a very beautiful place, and they're having a big celebration there on Saturday. So I look forward to joining them. And Hare Krishna, everyone.
Ireland is very beautiful, right? This is a very scenic.
It is very beautiful. Yeah, this is the country my family is originally from.
Yeah,
My
I
great-
think I've heard of that island, which is entirely populated by the devotees.
Yes, and I'll post a link here in the chat if I can find it.
Whole island is populated by devotees?
Yeah.
It's an island situated in the middle of Ireland. It's actually in Northern Ireland, and it's an island of only Krishna devotees, and there's a temple there. It's a really lovely place. I'll find the link.
A nice community. You can
It
find
really
devotees
is.
everywhere. In any
Yeah.
part of the world you go, you'll find devotees.
Yeah, and there's a temple here in Dublin where I'm staying today that I'm going to visit later this afternoon. There's Krishna Island.
Okay. We have to go to that island. Which island is that?
Krishna Island.
Krishna Island, it's called, yeah.
This island is called Krishna Island?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we went in Toronto, there was like a massive mansion and it was on Radha Road. So he has made that road into Radha Road, and like that's the address that comes for that mansion. So devotees.
But to name a whole island as Krishna Island, is it like only devotees are calling like that, or is it
Yes, I'm
official?
posting a link in the chat right now.
Officially, it is called Krishna Island.
The address would be
Yes.
called Krishna Island.
Yeah, I just posted a link to the website in the chat. It's really quite beautiful.
Krishna Island. Okay.
It's like New Vrindavan type community on an island.
Okay, so devotees call it Krishna Island, right? That's what you're saying, but not like...
Somebody has purchased that land, basically whole of that land.
Oh,
Mhm.
And
so
built
it's
a community.
very, it may not be very like lot of area, right? How it must be very small in area wise. But how can you purchase so much land? We can see the video. Krishna
Where
Island.
is it? Which part of the
Ireland.
Okay.
It's in northern Ireland. Yes, there it is.
Okay. Oh,
So that's where I'll be visiting on
It
Saturday.
looks like there is only trees, right? There is no like all trees are there, and this is a temple in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not like a city or anything. Yeah.
No. But you have to take a ferry to get there.
No, we can't see the sound. I hear the sound. I think you're not sharing the.
Okay, let's see. Here. Settings. Here setting. Here sound. Let's see, it's only 2 minutes. Okay.
It's a huge place, maybe miles.
Okay, so nice in Ireland, Krishna.
Mm.
Yes.
All because of mercy of Prabhupada in any part of the world, wherever we are. We can
Yeah. And I shared some photos of the group that was waiting, excuse me, at the gate, and I took a picture of them and then posed with them, and they took some pictures of me, and I connected with them. And
So
I'll
there
be
are no
meeting
other
all.
businesses or anything like there's no cars, I think. There's no car on that island, right?
No,
No, there is ferry, right?
Yeah,
Only
you have to
get the
you have to take a
No, but
ferry.
on the island itself, how do people commute from one? There's only temples
ferry.
there.
Ferry.
Yeah, they just walk.
They just walk. So it must be a small like place where you can.
Yeah, it's not a big island.
There are no businesses or anything like that.
No.
No. It's only the temple, and there are deer and cattle.
Peacocks.
They keep cows there, peacocks. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the same space as New Vrindavan,
Like
maybe
New Vrindavan.
little more like forest area. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stop sharing.
Okay. So we have been reading about Govardhan. So we read one Ashtakam prayer to Govardhan. This is a different one. I'll read 2 paragraphs. Krishna prasadena samasta shaila samrajyamapnoti cha vairinopi ग्रश्य यः प्राप बलिं स साक्षात् गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टं स्वप्रेष्ठहस्ताम्बुजसौकुमार्या सुखानुभूतेरतिभूमिवृत्ते महेन्द्रवज्राहतिम् अपेह जानन् गोवर्धनो मे दिशतामभीष्टम्. May Govardhan Hill, which by Krishna's mercy became the king of all mountains and received the respectful tribute of its arch enemy Indra, fulfill my desire. As it was held above the earth, it became so filled with happiness by experiencing the softness of its beloved Krishna's lotus hand that it didn't even know it was being struck by Indra's thunderbolt. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. So, yeah, Govardhan Hill can fulfill all our desires. Question is what we desire. And so, we should desire Mama Janmani Janmani Ishware Bhavatad Bhakti Rahetu Kitvayu. Birth after birth, I just want to be engaged in your service. I don't want anything else. So, it was by Krishna's mercy that Govardhan is now has become the king of all mountains, and finally Indra had to bow down in front of Govardhan. Govardhan became powerful because because Krishna wanted to protect it. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. If Krishna wants to protect a devotee, who can kill him? And if Krishna wants to kill somebody, who can protect him? So Krishna wanted to save Govardhan and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So not even a blade of grass was destroyed on Govardhan Hill. Indra was throwing thunderstorms, lightning, and we were hearing how he sent Samvartaka clouds, the clouds of devastation, to destroy whole of Vrindavan, but not even a blade of grass got uprooted from this Govardhan Hill. And Govardhan Hill was in touch with Krishna, with Krishna's lotus hand. It was in touch. So it was filled with happiness. And although it was being struck by Indra's thunderbolt, it could not feel the suffering. So when we are in touch with Krishna, through Krishna's devotees, through his holy name, through his scriptures, when we are in touch with Krishna, then no matter what thunderbolts may be falling on us, and we may be in crisis situation, but we will be filled with happiness because we are experiencing Krishna's association and Krishna's protection. So that is the 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 power of bhakti process, that you will rise above duality, happiness and distress. You will understand that all these are dreams, they are temporary, they come and go. Let me just focus on my relationship with Krishna. Then we'll understand, we'll see the world in the right perspective, will not become bewildered. यम लब्ध्वा चापरम लाभम मन्यते नादिकम तथा यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते. This verse says that one who has experienced the taste in bhakti, he feels that there is nothing beyond this. I have gotten the highest. He feels boundless transcendental happiness, and I have gotten the highest. There is no gain, no greater gain. I have gotten the highest. Then in such a position, one is never shaken even amidst of greatest difficulty. So that is the position of a devotee. And also Prabhupada says Krishna is Achyuta. One of the lines that are highlighted in my Bhagavad Gita was, one who has taken shelter of the Lord has nothing to fear even amidst of greatest difficulty. Krishna is Achyuta. He never fails in his affection for his devotees. So we have nothing to fear. We become fearless even amidst of greatest difficulty, because Krishna says, my devotee will never perish. He promises that I will take care of my devotee. So like that. Okay, so we'll continue the readings here. We are talking about Madhavendra Puri. This place we were discussing was Govind Kund. And Govind Kund is a place where Madhavendra Puri found his deities, his deity, Gopal deity, which became Srinathji. So one day Madhavendra Puri's travels brought him to Vrindavan, to the most holy place in Vrindavan, which was Govardhan Hill, and to one of the most sacred places at Govardhan Hill, Govind Kund. Traditional Vaishnava lore says that Govardhan Shilas that come from Govind Kund have a special potency. Madhavendra Puri was sitting under a tree at Govind Kund, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and remembering Krishna. This is a good example for us. While he was chanting, he was remembering Krishna, the name, form, pastimes, and paraphernalia of Krishna. So we should think, are we remembering Krishna while chanting Hare Krishna, or are we thinking of so many other things? So the point of chanting Hare Krishna is to remember Krishna. And Krishna helps, and he reveals us all the pastimes, his Krishna's form, beautiful form, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, his spiritual world will be revealed to us if we are chanting with a nice service attitude. Krishna, please purify me. I want to come closer to you. Please accept me. I want to become your pure devotee. I want to engage in your service. So if we chant in the service mood, automatically all the name will reveal Krishna's form, pastimes, and spiritual world to us. And all of a sudden, a very charming young cowherd boy came by and said, "Hey, Goswami, I am seeing you for the first time here. What kind of meditation are you doing? I see that you are fasting, but you are a little skinny. Why? Why are you fasting? I have brought you some milk. Could you please take this milk?" So Madhavendra Puri was a renounced sannyasi, and he was on this Ajgar Vritti, or we say Ayachik Vritti. He would not ask anything to anybody for any begging any food. But if food comes by itself, he will accept it. And of course, Krishna knows that my devotee is hungry. He has become so skinny. He's not going to ask anybody for anything. So let me go and give him something to drink and eat. So he's saying that, are you fasting? I've gotten this milk for you. So this is Krishna himself has come as that little boy. When we think of the Lord, automatically we think of his devotee because they are intertwined in loving relationships. We read this yesterday, that either we think of a pure devotee or we think of the Supreme Lord. It's the same thing, because of pure devotees, pastimes are all related to the Lord, and the Lord pastimes are all related to pure devotees. So Madhavendra Puri has been fasting and he was very hungry, but he was so enchanted by seeing the transcendental beauty of this boy that he forgot about his hunger and thirst. Without answering the boy's questions, he inquired from the boy, "Who are you? Where do you reside? How do you know that I am fasting?" So this boy was so attractive. He had transcendental beauty that, yes, Madhavendra Puri was hungry, but looking at the boy, all his hunger and thirst, he forgot. That's what Parikshit Maharaj, when he's hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he forgot to eat and sleep and drink, because you're so absorbed in something that you don't feel even hungry. Same thing happens in material concept also. If there's some very businessman so much absorbed in making money and making sure his business is progressing, he forgets to eat, he forgets to sleep. But that's not good. But absorption in Krishna is good. So that charming, beautiful, effulgent cowherd boy replied, "I live here. This is my village. And in my village, Baba, no one goes hungry. You see those gopis over there, those elderly ladies? They have been watching you and they told me to bring the milk to you. You take this milk. I have to go now and milk my cows, but I will come back in the evening to get the pot." So the boy disappeared, and Madhavendra Puri, with great relish, drank that pot, washed out the pot, and waited for the boy to return. But the boy did not return, and some strange transformations came over the body of Madhavendra Puri. The more he thought about that boy, his hair started standing on end, his voice was trembling, he was perspiring. Towards the end of the evening, he kind of fell asleep. In his dream, the same cowherd boy appeared to him. The cowherd boy took his hand and led him into the bushes that surrounded Govardhan Hill. So in his dream, the coward boy is taking him by the hand and taking him to the bushes. There he said, "My dear Goswami, my name is Gopal. I am the proprietor of this village, but I was lost. I have been staying here in these bushes for a long time. I'm suffering from heat and rain and cold and wind. Please take me out of here and install me on the top of Govardhan Hill and build a very nice temple for me. So you remember one of the purports where I think we read Krishna is saying, "Build a nice temple for me." I think that's this pastime is of that of Madhavendra Puri.
It was about the garden.
No, the temple has become old. Build a nice temple for me. That was Chandramauli Maharaj read that verse, right?
Yeah.
That
It's
was
one
like
thing
build
about
a.
the
So I
garden.
was wondering, build a nice temple for me. Which pastime is that? So here he's exactly saying this. This was in the purport. Like my temple has become old. Build a nice temple for me. I can see that purport again. Yeah, so I was installed by Vajranab. Once, when the Muslims came, the pujari hid me in the bushes and he fled and never came back. No one knew where I was hidden. Take me out of here and bathe me with water from Govind Kund to refresh me. I am so hot. For many days I have been observing you and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come to render service to me? I am hankering for your service because I am attracted by your ecstatic love for me. So, pure devotional service is Shri Krishna Akarshani. It attracts even Krishna. Krishna was waiting for the right person to come. He would not give his service to anybody and everybody, only to pure devotees. So he said, I've been watching over you for quite some time and I was wondering when will you do any service for me. So I was hankering for your service. I have become attracted to you. I'm very inspired that the deity wanted to take service from his devotee, Madhavendra Puri. And by how Gopal explained it, that Madhavendra Puri had ecstatic love for him. So Krishna also is looking for service. He wants to give service to his devotees. And getting service from Krishna is the best benediction. If we get some service through a devotee for Krishna, that's the greatest fortune that we have gotten. Because getting service of Krishna is a rare phenomenon. It's not easy. So when service comes to us, we should not deny it. We should accept it. Yes, after many lifetimes, I've gotten this rare opportunity, and service has come to me. When Madhavendra Puri woke up, he understood that it was the cowherd boy he had seen earlier who had come to him in a dream, and that it was none other than the object of his constant meditation and glorification, Sri Krishna. But instead of feeling ecstatic, he felt very ashamed because he had not recognized his Ishtadev. After so many years of hearing and chanting, serving and going on parikrama, when his Ishtadev finally appeared before him, he did not recognize him. He fell on the ground and started crying. So he's crying that when that boy came in front of me, I could not recognize him. He was my Krishna who I have been dedicated to. So many years I have been dedicated to him, hearing and chanting and serving. I could not recognize him. So he felt sad and he started to cry. After calming down, Madhavendra Puri came to Annur and he started gathering all the villagers, saying, Govardhan Dhari is in the bushes and you have to come help me. Take your tools and help me get him out. Gopal is a big deity and all the big and strong Rajvasis with big mustaches, 10 or 20 people, managed to carry the deity to the top of the hill. They made an asan out of a flat stone from Govardhan and they put another flat stone behind it as a back. That was the original altar where they put the Lord. To set an example for all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the future, Madhavendra Puri installed Gopal. They began by bathing him with 900 buckets of water from Govind Kund. Madhavendra Puri personally massaged the Lord with sandalwood oil. Then they bathed him in milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey, and then more water. As we saw that video from Krishna Island, we were seeing how they were doing Abhishek. Means they were pouring on the deities of Gauranitai, they were pouring all this milk and honey and ghee. They dried Gopal and Madhavendra Puri, dressed him in fine garments, jewelry and beautiful garlands made from the flowers gathered from around Govardhan Hill. And then the cooking of prasadam began. It is described that in their enthusiasm, all the villagers brought their entire stock of foodstuff to offer to the deity. Same thing happened with Govardhan Leela. We were hearing how they offered so much, everything that they had to Govardhan. Srila Prabhupada said one time, Krishna does not see how much you are giving, he sees how much you are holding back. And this is why the Vrajvasis are so dear to Krishna. They do not hold anything back. They just give everything to Krishna, knowing he will protect them and provide whatever they need. This is the adhikar for living in Vrindavan, that you are willing to give everything, including your heart, to Krishna. Adhikar means this is the qualification to become a Vrajvasi, to become an eternal resident of Vrindavan, is that you should be willing to give everything to Krishna. For Krishna, I can give everything, and I can give up everything for Krishna. Yeah, I can give up everything for Krishna, and for Krishna, I can give everything. There were 10 Brahmanas cooking rice, 5 Brahmanas cooking sabjis, 7 Brahmanas making chapatis. There were mountains and mountains of sabji, sweets, and grains. When all the residents of Vraj saw this, they were thinking, this is the reenactment of the wonderful pastime of Annakut ceremony that was offered to Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. Madhavendra Puri sat down and personally offered everything to Gopal, and then he had Gopal lie down on the bed. Having fed all the devotees personally, he took a small quantity of prasadam himself. So this is a quality of a devotee. He would offer it to Krishna, offer it to all the devotees, and then he will finally accept something little. The news about this puja spread quickly across all the Vraj Mandal. And I was hearing Premanand Maharaj, he says that yes, our tongue desires to eat tasty food. So to conquer over this taste, what you should do is you should cook elaborately, very nicely, whatever you desire for Krishna, and then give out all that prasadam to the devotees and take a little bit for yourself. And if you do this act, then you can conquer over your desires of tasting nice items. You'll conquer that because you are satisfying Krishna and you are satisfying the devotees. Then you will become fully satisfied, that your tongue will not hanker for this or that. The, the news about this puja spread quickly across all of the Vraj Mandal. Villagers came to Madhavendra Puri and said, we want to give all the stock of our foodstuffs to Gopal as well. They did. So it took weeks, it took many months for everyone to participate in this huge puja. It is described that the villagers were looking at Gopal with great love, and they were also looking at Madhavendra Puri this way. They realized it was by the mercy of Madhavendra Puri that Gopal had come into their lives. Just like we offer equal worship to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada, without Prabhupada's grace, none of us would be sitting here today. Without Prabhupada, there would be nothing, right? No temples, no scriptures that we are reading in English, nothing, no festivals. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, to bhi ke hit hoito, kemo na dharita de. If Prabhupada was not there, where would we be? So we should be ever grateful to Prabhupada. All the Brahmanas who were present in that occasion were initiated by Madhavendra Puri, and he taught them a very strict standard of worship of Gopal. This festival of installation of the Gopal deity went for 2 years. Singing, dancing, Hari Katha, and you can imagine how much prasadam there was to eat. After hearing all these transcendental glories of Srinath, Gopal, and his pure devotee Madhavendra Puri, let us get up, chant, and dance and honor prasadam. Devotees don't want the festivals to end. So that's why in the spiritual world, every day is a festival. Chanting, dancing, feasting going on every day for eternity. So what are we doing here in this world? We have to go to work and do other things. We don't like that. We want to just be doing festivals and chanting and dancing. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. So, yeah. So Govardhan can fulfill all our desires. So Krishna is like, Govardhan is Krishna only. Krishna is like a desire tree, we say. And he's open. Whatever we like, Krishna is willing to reciprocate. He gives direction in Bhagavad Gita, and then he says, now you act as you like. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. So I was thinking Krishna consciousness means to change our desires. Ultimately, Krishna consciousness means to change our desires. One time Prabhupada was in Los Angeles or somewhere, and he was going inside his car, and one devotee came running to him and said, Prabhupada, I have a question. Yes, what is the question? The question is, what is it that keeps somebody in Krishna consciousness? And what did Prabhupada say? What is it that keeps you in Krishna? Desire. Yes, it is desire. So sometimes we say controlling the mind means controlling our desires. Yeah. We have to control our desires. So everything is based on the desire. So if you have, and desire also, when we have strong desire, right? Strong desire to chant attentively, strong desire to serve, strong desire to hear Krishna Katha. Like, those who are addicted, those who are addicted to something, they have a strong desire for that thing. Like if I'm addicted to alcohol or whatever it is. So one should be very addicted to. I think in Science of Self-Realization, Prabhupada says, those who are addicted to serving Krishna. That means strong desire to please Krishna and Prabhupada. This is the ultimate desire. So later on we'll see in the Madhavendra Puri's story how he had a strong desire to please Krishna. Then he said, okay, bring me sandalwood from far off place. And he went. Although he was older, he went through so much austerity because he had that. So I think Madhavendra Puri Krishna came to Madhavendra Puri, and he also came for which other devotee like that? Like how Krishna came to Madhavendra Puri. Was it
Mangal Thakur.
Bilva Mangal Thakur also? Yes.
And so many devotees actually. I was seeing Madan Mohan DT yesterday. I mean, the story of Sanatan Goswami. Madan Mohan came in his dream that I am at Chaube's house. You get me. I want to come to you.
Yeah, so Krishna comes personally. We saw Narsimha Mehta's story also, how Krishna came. Arjunacharya also. Krishna personally provides. Krishna personally comes. So he came to Madhavendra Puri. Oh, he's hungry. I have to give him milk. Arjunacharya also same thing. Even more recently, Shyam Sundar Prabhu was saying that we didn't have the money to pay rent, and then suddenly we found all these dollar bills floating in the air, and nobody was there, and it was exactly so. So those you're talking about Parikshit Maharaj, how those who are absorbed, they forget to. Same thing with Raghunath Das Goswami also, and all the other Goswamis that's described. Gopi Bhava Rasamritabdi Lahari.
Pallola Magnamuhu.
Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo. Shri Jiva Gopalako. So they were completely absorbed. They gave up all the aristocracy, everything. And they were living as like mendicants. Tyaktva Turnamashesha Mandalapati. Shrenim Sada Tuchava. Bhutva Gana.
Karuneya Kopin Kantashrita.
Gopi Bhavarasa. Yeah, so he would take buttermilk every other day, some little buttermilk, something like that. But they were not suffering. They were absorbed in the nectarian mellows of Gopi Bhav, so they were feeling so much happiness and joy that they forgot to eat. Yeah, so when we are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then just like there is a verse in the Bhagavatam, in the third canto, that time passes so fast. Just as a mass of clouds does not know the influence of the wind by which it is carried. Similarly, a materialist who is very absorbed in his material life does not know the powerful influence of the time factor by which he is carried. Like, as you were saying, many big people who are working so much absorbed in their work, They say, oh, it's already 5 o'clock. Oh, it's already 5 o'clock. We didn't even realize it was so much absorbed in the work. So similarly, one can become so absorbed in Krishna that this life will just pass. And you wake up, you go out of this life and you're in the spiritual world. So absorption is very necessary. Absorption. So whenever we chant, whenever we do any service, we try to be absorbed. And that will be our saving grace. Then other things are, when you're absorbed also, another thing is you're not thinking of other things and other situations and all this. So we have to become absorbed in Krishna's service. That means our mind has to be fully there, focused. Okay. And time passes fast. Like you are in the company of somebody who you love, right? Then time passes, right? You can talk and talk and talk and talk, and 1 hour goes, 2 hour goes. So the devotees, when they meet, they also talk about Krishna. Shukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, they're talking and hearing about Krishna. So time passes fast. Otherwise, all the problems will come in the mind, right? So all the stress and anxiety will come in the mind. Okay, so this is a nice way to get relief from stress and anxiety by absorbing in Krishna. Madashraya kathamrishta shrinvanti kathayanti. Madashraya kathamrishta shrinvanti kathayanti cha tapanti vividastapa naitan madgata chetasa. Even gopis, when they were feeling anxiety, they were talking about Krishna to relieve their anxiety. Of course, that was anxiety for Krishna only. But so chanting and hearing you can absorb in that. That's very nice. Okay. So life should be simplified so that we can have time to chant and hear nicely about Krishna. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Anything else anybody like to say? Okay, so we can read the false ego book.
So any motivation for being absorbed in the service?
So I think absorption happens when you get taste. When you get taste. So we may not, in the Vedi sadhana bhakti, we don't have taste. But we know the benefits, right? Of if we become absorbed, what will happen? We'll be in full bliss. Or of course, it is not about our bliss also. Sometimes we have to forget the I. It's about the object of love. So, but when Krishna is pleased, then I will also feel so much bliss. So, of course, it is in the spontaneous stage, it is love that makes you absorbed. Like the Goswamis, they are absorbed because they are so much in love. And we have to try to be absorbed, right? Because we don't, speaking for myself, when we chant and like that, we have to try to be absorbed so that we want to come to that point.
So we have to find that service that makes us absorbed. For some people, like some devotees, Janmashtami is coming, they're making flower garment for their deities, like Vraj Bhakti Mataji. So then she has to pick each flower petal and she says, I don't know how the time flies. I have to make this. So very much attention to all the details that they are. And in those giving attention to that, forget everything what's going on in my life and forget who am I, right? So that is absorption for them. For some people, preparing for a class, so I have to hear from so many devotees, I have to write notes, I have to read these many pastimes from these many books, and dedicated to that service. For some time we are absorbed in our service, right? Of course that absorption should last for all the time, like it should be all the time, but at least for that time find the service that makes you absorbed. For some people it's cooking, right? They have to cook so many things, and they have to pay attention to all the details of cooking, that while cooking they forget who I am and what's my desires and what troubles are going on in my life.
Hmm. Yeah, without motivation and without interruption. If we can find a service that we can do without motivation, uninterrupted and unmotivated.
So
That's
Prabhuji, also I
uh,
also heard like another level, if in the temple the senior devotee or say Shiksha Guru or
uh,
who say temple president, if they ask say devotee to do a service
hmm,
which may not be his
inclination.
service he want to do,
Yeah,
but then his thought is I can do any service. I mean, that's the next level.
yeah.
I am not just for a singing service, not for a flower service, not any service is a service. So probably that's maybe another level of.
Yeah, and some services require skill set, right? If you say, "Oh, I like to cook Sunday feast," yeah, Sunday feast, but do you really know how to cook Sunday feast? Or I want to make garlands, yeah, but you have to learn first the okay, washing pots may not require all this, but many other services like require some training. So there is there they have DT service, they have DT training, how to dress the DT. Yeah, and if you like it, so you may enroll for that service. Another thing is not everybody can do all the services also. There are so many services. So everybody cannot be able to do all the services. But whichever you like, you do. And sometimes you, as you are saying, whatever is necessary, yeah, I will do the needful. Because
Mhm.
ultimately I have to please the object of my love through this
Yeah.
service.
And if, yeah,
Service.
service comes to us, yeah, it has come from Krishna. So, but once in a while is fine. But according to our psychophysical nature, so Urmila Mataji was saying that she likes to give classes. That is a natural service for her. That comes naturally. For other people, they might be in anxiety while giving a class. They may not enjoy that service. For her, when she was making garlands, she was in anxiety. Oh, I'm not doing right. And other devotees were saying, oh, you did it wrong. And then they opened everything what she did. So she said, yeah, I mean, the typically what services we usually engage in should be the services according to our nature. Then we will be enjoying doing that service. And if any service comes of, other devotees say this is needful, right? So we do that, but that's once a while. But what service we generally choose is what we are best at. We want to give Krishna our best, right? And everybody's skill set is different. So some people can sing nicely, some people can cook nicely, some people can do deity worship nicely. So understand what you are excelling at, and then do that best for Krishna, and that you will be enjoying that service while doing it. You will be absorbed, otherwise you will be in anxiety. I'm not Anxiety is good, in one sense is good, but not all the time. Sometimes is good. Anxiety, it leads to purification, but not all the time. That whatever I'm doing for Krishna, I'm always in anxiety because I don't know how to do this.
So all those other services are there, but I think chanting is the main service, and trying to get absorption in there, and that's the question. I can't be in the kitchen like 24/7, and so specific to in terms of chanting, because that's the main service. I think you also say, right, 90% of progress in bhakti comes from chanting.
Mhm. Yeah, so if you have taken initiation, yeah, 16 rounds we have to chant. Prabhupada said like that what is it,
Hmm.
of all the regulative principles, because that will also help us do the other services in proper consciousness.
Or how we do the other services also affects our chanting,
That is
right?
also.
And chanting affects other services, and other services affect chanting. What you do in the 22 hours of the day affects your 2 hours of chanting.
Because
So
sometimes you can do like a lot of people like to do service, but they are not absorbed in like you can be like working in the kitchen and so many things, like. But of course, at the bottom of all that is that I'm trying to please Krishna. But while we are doing the service, we may not be like in that mood. So, but I like some people like to do cooking. many Indian ladies, right? They like to cook. But is that like there is some like that comes from hearing and chanting? There is a certain kind of attitude that comes. Okay, I'm remembering Krishna, I'm doing it for Krishna. Otherwise, it's a hobby, you like to do that, so you do it, yeah. But it may not be in very devotional consciousness also. So that is where all these subtle things come, right? Of hearing the philosophy, chanting Hare Krishna. So, but it's good, right? Like when I was in Houston temple, many Gujarati ladies, like they like to come and they like to cook. They like to help in the kitchen, but they're cooking, but they will not maybe so inclined to sit in the class, but they like to do. But if you hear also, then it will be better, right? Then you will understand.
I guess absorption means to be in the present. So while we are chanting, we are thinking of, oh, I need to do this for Krishna, that for Krishna. Well, that's not absorption, right? Or when we are cooking, we think that, oh, I did not do my chanting properly. So whatever you are doing right now, you be in present.
Mm.
And what am I doing? Being conscious. So before we are Krishna conscious, we are conscious of what we are doing, right? And do this thing that you're doing for Krishna very nicely in the right mode and not thinking of anything else, other services.
There is Laukik Shraddha and there is Shastriya Shraddha. Laukik Shraddha is good, it brings you to temple, but then Shastriya Shraddha, I think that is being talked about in, I think, Madhurya Kadambini. You can read that. So ultimately, you have to have faith in the. There is Laukik Shraddha means like traditional, like how it is. So we have to deepen our faith in the. So
Yeah.
that comes, I think, mostly. I mean, any service can help you to do that, but when you hear for me, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. So when we hear nicely, then we may remember some things and we chant also nicely, right? Ultimately, Shravanam and then Kirtanam, right?
Yeah.
So Shravanam will lead to Kirtanam. So be absorbed while you hear the lecture or read a book, or then you'll be able to chant nicely. And then if you're chanting nicely, Shravanam, Kirtanam will lead to Smaranam, that you'll be able to remember Krishna all the time.
Yes. Shravanam Kirtanam leads to Smaranam.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay, so let's see where we are in this book. And don't be proud of your service. Don't try to get enjoyment in your service other than like pleasing Krishna. That's the enjoyment actually. But don't try to get some kind of other kind of appreciation. Oh, I'm such a nice cook, or I'm nice orator. I'm a nice kirtan singer. Everybody's appreciating me. So we should not do our service with that attitude that okay, I'll get praise and adoration. People will clap after my class, or I will get so many hits on the YouTube because I'm giving the class. So that should not be the motive. Motive should be to speak from your heart to please Krishna, or to do anything like that. I mean, so
What is that? Prabhupada writes, an act of instruction will not get the sweet taste. And he says, if you do it for any other reasons, what is that?
Your class may not be appreciated by many. Let's say you give a very basic class, and sometimes, but you maybe feel very happy in your heart because I spoke from my heart very nicely for the pleasure of Prabhupada, for pleasure of Krishna. And other devotees devotees generally should appreciate everybody's service. But somebody may say, oh no, that was just a simple basic class. But you may give very simple class, but you may feel very happy in bhakti.
Yeah, this is what Prabhupada writes. Anyone who has any desire or aspiration for satisfying his senses by becoming more and more important, either in material sense or in spiritual sense, cannot actually relish the really the sweet taste of devotional service.
Hmm.
Because only by hetuki pratihata, unconditionally, uninterruptedly doing service to Krishna, that we feel satisfaction in our heart. But if we have other ulterior motives in doing our service, then we will not feel satisfied and joyful. Our heart always hankering. People didn't praise me, or
So one only attends classes when Maharaj visit, and when one doesn't attend class when some local devotee is speaking. So in that case, the person is not really looking for the katha or the relation, right? There is no absorption. He is more looking into only specific person to come and then I can attend a class.
Yeah, that can, I mean, yeah, that is also because you have local people, you think, you know their faults, right? But if somebody comes from outside, then yeah, familiarity breeds contempt. So local people, you may know, oh, this person is like that, this person. But outside person, you don't know much. Another thing is that maybe the outside person is more advanced in consciousness also. So Maharaj, supposing some Swami is coming, so of course sannyasis are considered very special because they have given their body, mind, words, and completely in the service of Krishna. So they may be more inclined to, okay, now because this person touches my heart. So that can also, and sometimes devotees say, I have limited time. I choose who I have to hear from because I have only so much time. So I choose. But from community building, it's not a very good thing because it does not build relationship between. Because if we don't come within the community and talk about Krishna within us, then it can also create like, okay, only we depend on people from outside only. When they come, then we will go to here. Then it doesn't give that kind of, bonding between the devotees and the community. So there can be many
and
ways.
then if they give a class, then we might think that, oh, they don't come to my class, why should I go into their class? But I mean, we should not think about whether others are coming or not, right?
Mhm.
It could be for any reasons, but we should not think why these people are not coming to my class.
Hmm.
It's not good for me. I should not think like that.
Yeah, ultimately, whoever wants to go to whichever class, they are free to go. I mean, it's not like whatever the reasons may be, whether they come, we cannot question anybody why they are, and we can have our own reasons also why I should go and why I should not go to somebody's class. And so ultimately, yeah, ideally, we should not have that kind of attitude that, oh, they are not coming to here, and why should I go to hear them? So, so that kind of attitude should not be there. But automatically, like, see, that is all the faults we see in others. Okay, these people are like, okay, when their Guru Maharaj comes, then everybody is very eager. But when others are speaking, they are not coming. Like Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, when I come to Ujjain, then everybody is coming for Mangalarti. I see so many. But then when I am not there, then also you should come for Mangalarti. Not like only when I am there. And there is some kind of thing also. My Guru Maharaj will notice me. I am at Mangalarti. So when the Guru comes, then I am all about service and I'm trying to make an impression on my Guru Maharaj. So how dedicated I am. But then when he's gone, then we are not like. So that can also be a problem. So yeah, this is the tendency. All these tendencies are there. So everybody has their, way of thinking. So yeah, ideally everybody should come. Not also only when we come, when we have to speak. When we have to give a class, then we come to the temple. Like so, it was happening like that on some programs that we were having in our temple. So when somebody has to speak, then they will show up. But when others are speaking, they don't come unless there is a person from outside that is coming. So that is also like a drawback, a problem with the culture in the community. So, and some people say, yeah, in this community, there is nobody really advanced, We don't see anybody advanced in this community. So we need somebody only from outside to come in. Then, but you have to realize also that the person who is part of that community is doing so much for the community. Like all of you have given so much for the temple construction and so many services like that. So they are part of our yatra. So we should, if we don't respect the people who are in our yatra and only take opinion from people who come from outside and like that, then it's a problem. Then there'll be no bonding also between. And there is envy in the heart, and also all these things are there. Oh, why should I give? No. So from outside, like they say, if you are doing the same service, then there can be envy. But if somebody else is doing the service, then you are not envious. So, or somebody is coming from outside. So then, but there is also this competition, envy, all these things come. Very subtle things are there. And it spoils the whole mood of the community also. Okay, it's already 9 o'clock. So we'll stop. We'll continue tomorrow with this book. But yeah. Patri Prabhu I met in D-Land. And he was telling me, your community needs a push. Your community. So I said, what kind? He says, when there is some service, people should be very like eager and like so desperate. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this same service. Like there should be like some enthusiasm, and 5 people for one service, which only one person has to do, but there should be 10 people ready. Something like that he was saying. So to do that service. So he was telling me like that this is how your community needs a push. This is yeah, all these events are good, all this.
Even in the Sankirtan, we had very few people came, I mean, from the community.
With Sankirtan.
I mean, the Harinam Kirtan we did with Patri Prabhu.
Yeah, and everybody has their reasons and their, yeah, that's there. I'm doing this service and I'm doing that. Yeah, so it's like, and sometimes when we are in some service, we want others to join, but when others are doing service, we may not join. So that is also there. So there's very subtle things going on also. So if I am doing book distribution service, I want that so many people should join my book distribution. But then those who are doing DT worship, or sometimes for catering, we need like, people. So I tell Ram Prakash Prabhu, we have a catering order. He says, unless you give me people, devotees. And of course, now devotees have their own responsibilities and their work and all these things. So they cannot do. But I heard in Alachua, they are in line to dress the deity. Right? There's a whole, but of course, there may be situation different because they may be full-time. They don't have other responsibilities and they're more older, and they are from Prabhupada generation, so they're very fired up also. Yeah, that kind of that thing when Prabhupada was there, and that sacrifice and that the devotees were doing at that time is not like to be seen so much now on a mass scale. Of course, there is always going on, but maybe the nature of the movement has changed. But at that time, what was going on a very like people were fired up and ready to sacrifice everything. That's how Krishna consciousness spread. That now everybody wants to be materially well established. I'm talking about myself. And then if there is some time, we can do devotional service and like, yeah, we have to take care of but it was a different mood at the other time when Prabhupada was there. And of course, they were also hippies, so they don't have anything much going on in their life anyway, materially speaking. But yeah, they joined and they became fired up. Like Keshav Maharaj was saying in a class that one devotee came to the Sunday feast and he said, I want to dedicate, or he asked somebody that I want to dedicate my life to this movement. And then he said, so since when have you been coming? He said, since yesterday only I started coming. But that mood was there that no, I want to dedicate my whole life and all my time. And so that kind of thing is not seen now. Although the movement is expanding, right? So many temples have come up and all this. Anyway, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
beg your pardon.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how I feel and felt it almost immediately.
you felt something. Okay.
Yes, my devotion, my desire to give up everything and devote my life entirely to Krishna. That's why I'm here.
Okay. So I'm getting a call, but we have to stop here. Thank you. We'll continue this discussion. Thank